tonight on ESPN Plus. I think that's going to be a pretty good fight between former world champions, Jose Ramirez and Jose Pedraza coming up. He was a lightweight. No, he was a junior lightweight and a lightweight champion, and now coming up in his third division at 140 pounds against Jose Ramirez. Again, that's an interesting fight because if Josh Taylor does relinquish all four of his titles and move up to welterweight, it'll be very interesting how the different promotional entities how they scramble to get those how they scramble to get those titles. So I think it's going to be a good fight tonight. We also get to see some youngsters fighting tonight on ESPN Plus. Look, I saw this channel. It was I clicked on a trail boxing video for something. I had a reason why I clicked on it. But the one cat, the number one mic on there, whatever his name is, he was saying that promoters don't, his big idea was that promoters don't want to see another Floyd Mayweather. They don't want to see a successful black fighter, I think was his entire point. And you can believe that if you want to believe that. I disagree for the simple fact that Floyd made life easy for everybody. Everybody made money when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, when he was having his events the last 6 to 8 years of his life. Everybody was making money hand over fist. Now, they might not want to see a fighter with as much leverage as Floyd possessed. Maybe a promoter can say that. You don't want to see a fighter who achieves that much leverage in their negotiations, or somebody who is aware of how to get the upper hand in most of the arrangements. But still, if you have a dude like that makes that type of money and generates those types of revenues, you want to be involved in that. And I'm saying this because what I was venting about was a local promoter, or we point the finger at all of these promoters, at certain promoters. Certain people blame this promoter. Another group of people, they only have a problem with this promoter. But a lot of these promoters kind of really, it's a shot into the dark being successful at this. Like it all boils down to having the right fighter, a popular fighter. But when they actually have to get their hands dirty and really figure out how to make something successful, it's a lot of laziness. It's a lot of stuff that falls through the cracks. The ball gets dropped in a lot of areas. So what I'm getting at is there's a promoter tonight. I just found out yesterday. There's a fight locally in Columbus, Ohio, with some interesting fighters on there. I cover everything in the Midwest: Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky. Haven't done a ton in Pennsylvania. I've been over to Chicago a few times. Everything in the Midwest, everything that's connected to my state, I try to get to it. I said Michigan, it's a lot of fights in Detroit. They've resumed having club shows up there. But there's a fight tonight in Columbus. I didn't even know about it until yesterday. And I stumbled onto it, just paying attention to the stuff that I pay attention to. But you damn near had to crack a code to figure out how to attend this fight. And I'm just sitting here. I know the promoter. I've been to 2 or 3 of his events in Columbus. But to not be given any kind of heads up, there's no social media promoting the event or the fighters themselves. There's no information on what the venue is. It's at the Hollywood, pretty good venue. And I'd like to go to it, but I can't find out the day before. There was no press releases sent. So nobody know about your event. And maybe because of his connection there, and maybe people can see up on the advertisements down at Hollywood Casino. Maybe you can drive by and see that there, and it's not even in a really populated area, so that wouldn't work. I just don't know how you go hold an event and you don't take any of the steps to promote your event. Is the onus placed on the fighters for the fighters to go out to their social media pages and drive the drive ticket sales and people to show up? I just don't get it. I also found out I was contacted a couple months ago. The brother in Cincinnati, the promoter there that I have a decent relationship with, he did give me the heads up like a month and a half ago. His first show coming out of the pandemic is gonna be whatever night Spence is. I can't remember if that's April 14th or April 16th, but with Spence and you guys, that's the same night that he's having his next event. I'm kind of shocked that he hasn't moved off of that date or moved his date to Friday night instead of trying to have your event on Saturday night up against the pay-per-view that involves Errol Spence Jr. But that's what he chose to do. But at least he gave me a heads up. I can do my thing in terms of out there on what the lineup is going to be. I already found out that the main event, the headliner, I think I can share this now. But the headliner is actually, I won't even mention his name, but the headliner is a kid that from Cincinnati who's been in gym with B&B with Terrence Crawford and Bomac for the last 2 years during the pandemic. He's regularly been between Omaha and what they do up in Colorado. It's a kid. His last name is Silla. I'll at least put that out there. But I think that's an interesting person for us locally in Cincinnati or anybody in the Dayton area, anybody in Kentucky that's a boxing fan. I think that's an interesting cat to go and watch and see in person, especially if it's $25 or $30. So now, this brother in Cincinnati, what's going on your Instagram account? Do you have any images of the fighters? Do you have any special attraction information that you're telling people? Are you letting people know what the location is going to be? Are you telling people what the pricing is so that people got a few months together to put, to get your $25 or $35 where you're not trying to hold on to it, tooth and nail? How can you get people in the building to watch your event? And so I say all this to say, the process of trying to create boxing fans from a grassroots perspective, because another partner of mine on here, a colleague, a peer, and Junior the Truth, is a big proponent of you need to build a fighter locally. And you need to have multiple events per year locally, and that's how you get it done. I've shared my thoughts on trying to do that. It's really not cost effective for most people to do it. It just isn't. But again, if you do have an area like this cat that has the fight in Columbus tonight, he has one or two events per year, and it seems like they're tied to, like, tonight's fight is tied to the Columbus. I mean the Arnold Schwarzenegger the annual event. What is it, the Schwarzenegger Classic or whatever? But it's the weightlifting and bodybuilding expo that's taking place in Columbus every year. I forgot about it because I don't even think it was going on last year. But his event is tied to that, and I think that's what he relies on for his ticket sales. Is that most of the people that are here, the Arnold Classic, that's what it's called. Most of the people that are here attending the Arnold Classic, I'm going to get you to come out and check out my boxing match at the end of the night. And I think that's pretty much what he relies on. But how many weightlifting and crossfitting and bodybuilding people, what's the correlation, the number of people that are into that are big time boxing fans, where it's going to be important for them to go support this card? Now, I did find out Alante Green out of Cleveland, Ohio, cruiserweight out of Cleveland, Ohio. He's in the main event. I'm not familiar with the guy who he's fighting. There is a 140-pounder, lightweight, junior welterweight cat that's on there out of Wisconsin. Rolando Vargas. He fought on ESPN Plus, I believe, one time. He's also on there. Another kid out of Toledo, Roy Behringer, he's on there. I want to say it's like 6 or 7 fights. The thing that's disappointing though, even once I figured out, even though once I figured out who was fighting on it, I still didn't know where the hell they were fighting. The image that the picture that I saw on Instagram had the fighter, but it just said that he's fighting. It didn't even say where to buy tickets, how much the tickets cost, what time it starts. It didn't even have the most basic information on it. So I had to go, and this is how you gotta, I say this all the time. It's a task to follow boxing. I had to go to the fighter who I knew was on it. I had to go to BoxRec to find his fighter profile, and then to go to his opponent, to his next opponent, click on that, and then you can click on event and figure out where the event is or what the rest of the event is. The only thing when I got to that, the location of the event was not listed on there. It was just the card was listed. So when you gotta rely on people to do that much work, it's just not gonna happen for you. So that just frustrates me because again, we're trying to grow grassroots boxing fans. You gotta get the people in the building. There's been little club shows that I've seen, like I said, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Detroit, outside of Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan, Chicago. There's been different little fights that I've seen here and there that for $25 or $35, I enjoyed the hell out of that experience. I enjoyed the hell out of the fights that were there that night. And I think that's an excellent way for people to go in at an affordable price and get interested in boxing and develop some kind of interest in the sport that you want to go and tune into the boxing that's on TV. And then from there to tune into the championship boxing that's on TV. And then from there to be interested in why I'm paying $75 for a pay-per-view. It kind of all feeds into itself. But when we drop the ball at the first stop at the club show, how are you bringing people into the tent? How are we getting people involved? So I think it's and I say this, personally, as a writer, the brother in Cincinnati, he had a contact that I used to work with. They would send me the press release. The press release didn't do any good in terms of creating interest in the event and really communicating to potential ticket buyers what's going on and why should I care? Who are these people? So doing what I do, I went and did my own article on it to try to drum up some interest and make this shit sound exciting and give a potential ticket buyer to try to push them across the line of actually buying a ticket and showing up. But the thing is, I'm not going to go work for this brother for free. You ain't pay me shit to sit here and research. You got 8 fights. I got to look up 16 dudes, make sense of their story, and how I got to write all of this shit up just to do, to make it sound exciting. That's my time. So, that's, I'm talking through this. Maybe that's a potential business opportunity for me. But again, the business is so freaking slimy and people are so, you can't depend on people. I'm not trying to sit out here and do hours of work and then I got to go chase down, my cut for the event. I'm better off just being media and just doing what I do. But at my core, I want other people to, for lack of a better word, I want people to fuck with boxing. But it's not a lot of individuals out here that really have the passion to go out here and do what it takes to get people to fuck with boxing on the way that we want boxing to be supported and appreciated. So like I said, man, I do what I do But again, to have a fight going on tonight, an hour away from me, and I had to do all of that work to figure out that it was going on. I can't even go to it. That's the thing. Like finding out about it, I can't even get to it because I got something else going on tonight. But it would have been easy as hell for me to go down there and do my thing. There were fighters on the card that I could have done some interviews with here on the channel, live streamed and all of that, and tried to generate some attention for this event. But you're gonna go down here, like I said. I guess he's depending on the people from the Arnold Classic. After they get done looking at supplements and nutrition and leotards and compression shirts and all this shit. I guess after they go look at that shit 5 or 6 hours, they might take the ass over to the Hollywood casino and watch these 8 fights. I guess that's what my man's business plan is. But again, like I said, a lot of times, man, we see, even at the higher levels, we see week to week where not a lot of planning has went into an event that's on TV. I said the fact that Devin Haney and JoJo Diaz Jr. were put in the Grand Garden Arena at the MGM Grand or whatever out in Las Vegas. That made no sense. They made no sense. You go and think, hey, I got this young this young U.S. champion, this brother, good looking kid, this and this and this. He's real skilled. Let's go get the MGM Grand Garden. And then like 3,500 people showed up. And the building, the capacity is like 17,000. What the hell did you go? That don't even line up. Like there were several different venues in Las Vegas that they could have reserved and used, and it would have been a better presentation. But hey, it is what it is. We gonna see. It is what it is. Think through it. I saw Jerry Jones yesterday or in the last 2 days talking about hosting the fight for Errol Spence Jr. and your Dennis. You guys, hey, I give Jerry credit. Jerry is like, hey, I got one of the best sports venues here. I got a young creating a good buzz in his sport. My other business partners and my other brands that I'm in, the Cowboy brand. What do they sell there? Pepsi or some shit? We go get Hennessy or whatever, or Douce, whatever. We get all my other big brands and we take this event and try to make it a bigger event, or at least a successful event. So I said this last week, like I gotta tip my cap to Errol Spence Jr., despite the fact of having the issue with the accident, some alcohol being involved and all of that. For the most part, Errol Spence's brand, in my opinion, is still pretty. It can have some universal appeal to it. He's not on social media messing up his name with a lot of promoting a lot of edgier messaging and stuff like that. He has put himself out there as a professional. I'm a professional boxer. That's what I do. I'm not a professional boxer slash street henchman slash rapper, weed holder slash strip club patrons. He's kind of separated himself enough to where he can get a dude like Jerry Jones to support him, and it works for everybody. So I'll give him enough credit to where it's just kind of like Floyd. I'm just doing enough not to mess up my bag. I would like to be as street or have as much street credibility, or I would like to be in all my full blackness. I like to do all my foolishness, but he's limited enough to where, like I said, an individual like Jerry Jones still sees there's a way for him to make a dollar, and he gets involved with his business across the country. You know, how many emerging boxers are trying to position themselves in the same way, that as I do get more appeal, as I can become more of a draw, whatever the big businessmen in my state, or in my near my city, how do I get them involved, to help, what do they say, a rising tide lifts all boats, or whatever. Like, how can we all benefit the greatest from this? And I just think it's a lot of dudes watching their social media. That's not the goal for them. Like, it's a reason, just because no boxers have meaningful sponsorships or endorsement deals, just because it doesn't happen regularly or normally, that doesn't mean that you should just write that off. Like, it doesn't happen for boxers. This kid, Keyshawn Davis, silver medalist, fighting on ESPN. It should be some opportunities for him to do something with that as a starting point. And then, he gets some key victories and whatnot. It should be a way for Keyshawn Davis to become more than just a dude who fights 2 or 3 times a year on ESPN. Like, it should be a team around him really trying to figure out what can we do. I know years ago Floyd had the silly ass insurance commercial, where he popped up in, I don't know if it was Geico, Progressive, or one of them meaningless commercials, but he was in it, and I'm just saying, somebody like Claressa Shields, you got 2 gold medals, and you and your team have done nothing to get you nothing, or get you anything besides when she was with the MMA, she had the headset. She had a deal with Bose for their sports buds or whatever it was. But I think that was tied to the PFL. But again, for her to be the only 2-time gold medalist, especially on the female side, and you not to really capitalize on that, I think that's a you dropped the ball. That's just my opinion on it. I done a series starting on ESPN Plus or something. I don't know if it's a multi-part thing or some kind of documentary or whatever, but I did see earlier this week, somebody sent me a link. She has some kind of series that's going to be starting. And she did just have an article that she wrote on sportsillustrated.com, like straight from the athlete's perspective or something. Something on there. I'm more than just an angry black woman or something. Check it out if you got time. Hey, let me get off of here, man. My lunch is over again. I complain a little bit because I want to see people. I want to see boxing and fighters. I want to see them have opportunities. I want to see the sport grow. I want to see good fights. I want to see successful events. I would like more attention on boxing. But again, you got a lot of individuals. You got a lot of individuals who don't put a lot of thought into making some of this stuff work. And it's just like, and then at the same time, we don't know who to point the finger at on a situation like Bud Crawford, where we can say Top Rank didn't do certain things, but then we're also saying Bud doesn't sell himself. And who's to blame? But this is one of our best athletes in the sport, and it's this issue with getting him over the hump in terms of being a decent sized draw and whatnot. And it's not like Top Rank is really looking to bring in nobody with some new ideas. They got their 3 or 4 guys that do everything, and the numbers are right enough for them not to try things they've never tried before. And Bud does what he just does what he does. So I don't know, man. This shit is frustrating could be better. Anyway, bite down boxing. Let me end my rant, get on off here. Enjoy your weekend again. Decent fights tonight on ESPN Plus. I do think Ramirez and Pedraza are gonna mix it up. You know, Ramirez isn't really special to me per se. Neither is Pedraza, but I think it's a good match. I think it's a good matchup. And so again, it doesn't move the needle. I haven't seen the boxing world lit up this week about that fight, but I do think it's going to be a quality boxing match. Will it be exceptional? Will it be box office? You know, that's up to them to do that once they get in the ring and get it going. Some youngsters, some other youngsters on that card. You know what it is. Tomorrow night, though. Tomorrow night. I can't say it enough. And again, I don't even see a lot of the channels with a lot of buzz about tomorrow night's fight between Chocolatito and Julio Cesar Martinez. But again, that's going to be a great fight. Unequivocally, great. I feel like I can say great today, and Sunday morning, I'm going to be like, that was a great fight. I really like that one. But it's two guys that weigh, you know, combined, I weigh more than these two guys, you know, probably about 10 or 12 pounds. So we just don't care about little guys who weigh 115 pounds. You know, we don't, they don't light the world up, but I do think it's going to be a phenomenal fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take no brainer Chocolatito, but I think Martinez is going to try to mix it up, and you won't have to worry about a feel out round and a fight building and all of that. I think they will get into it very quickly, and it'll be an enjoyable fight. That's going to be on the Zone. You're like, what is the Zone? Or as Jerry Jones says, Dazin, or Days Inn, the motel chain. Anyway, bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate that one like out there. I'm out. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.